Lovewins at home. Welcome back to another episode, another edition of this Married Talk Show, edition 21. Yes. And it's actually been more than 5 months today that we've been doing this show. And in the house today, I have my wonderful brother all the way from Tennessee. I'll be introducing him shortly. But to our viewers at home, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Marriage Talk Show if marriage is hard work. And please, we would like to give you a shout out. Remember to put your name in the comment section. We would like to give you a shout out. And again, back to my guest at home today, we have Brother Paul, all the way from Tennessee. He's my brother, and you can expect that the table is going to be shattered today, just like what we've had before. Brother Paul, thank you so much for joining us on today's show. Thank you for honoring this invitation. We did not take it for granted. And thank you for abandoning everything that you need to do just to make it a day with us today. Before we dive into today's show, do you have anything you want to tell our viewers at home, sir? Is there anything you want to tell our viewers at home before we dive in right into the show today?
I just want to say thank you for inviting me to this show. I think this is a very interesting topic. Marriage, very important. Something that we all have to work hard to make keep going. So I'm going to share my opinion and what I feel about the topic.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us today. We really, really appreciate it. Actually, you are the number 20 guest, sorry, 21 guest
Wow.
that will be honoring our invitation on this show. So yes, we've been doing it for this. We've been doing this for quite a while now, and a lot of people that have been on this show, I normally ask my guests two questions. Then I will let you take over the show. Meaning, we, your audience today, including myself, we want to learn from you. Nothing is formal; it is informal. We want to hear out from your words of wisdom. So you are in charge today. But before then, I normally ask two questions, and I will let you take us into today's show without any interruption. So the first question I normally ask my viewers is, what do they think marriage is all about? And I'll be asking you that question today, sir. What do you think marriage is all about? And the second question is, do you think marriage requires a hard work? Over to you, sir. You're in charge, sir. Over to you.
So like the question you asked. Yeah, okay, yeah. So, like the question you ask, what is marriage all about? I can say that marriage is a very interesting union, the best thing that can happen to any man or woman. It is something that is instituted by God, the coming together of a man and a woman to, consummate, the love of Christ. What Christ exemplified for the church is like, Christ and the church. So when a man and woman comes together, it's not just a physical union. It goes beyond that. It's more spiritual than physical. So,
Wow.
there's nothing beautiful that can happen to any man or woman that is more than marriage. So marriage to me is like everything. Like it's very beautiful, very nice, and you will be fulfilled in marriage. I'm not saying that people that are not married can be fulfilled, but if you're going to exemplify what Christ have demonstrated to us, Christ, is the husband and the church is the bride. So coming together of a man and a woman is kind of like what Christ have exemplified for the church.
That is very, very deep, sir. The second question, sir, which will take us into the show. Do you think marriage requires hard work, sir? Mm.
Yes, I would say that you know the original intention of God when He created marriage, it wasn't supposed to be hard work. Because if you look at when God created man, He created man, and after creation of man, He started creating other animals, and he was bringing them to the man. But all the animals that God had created, man was not satisfied until God created woman. And when He created, when the man saw, He made the man to sleep, and they took his rib and made a woman. That's the first marriage. So when He brought the woman to the man, and the man looked at the woman, he said that this is the flesh of my flesh and the rib of my rib.
Mm.
So at that point, it was not supposed to be any kind of hard work. It was supposed to be just,
Mm.
you know, enjoyment. It was supposed to be like pure bliss, as long as they adhere to the, instructions of God. But somewhere along the line, man derailed and goes against the will of God. And at that
Mm.
point, everything becomes hard work. Man is not supposed to work hard. God has provided us everything that we need, for our well-being. But once we veer off of God's will, now the work comes in. So
Mm.
part of the call that we received, that is that whatever we do now on earth has to come as a result of hard work. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how intelligent you are. You see, even the most intelligent people, even people you look at, they have all the knowledges, but they're failing in marriage. And you ask yourself why. The reason
Mm.
why they're failing in marriage is because they refuse to, put in the work. Marriage is not just something that you wake up. Marriage is, I would define it this way, is the
Mm.
only, when you go to school, you graduate.
Mhm.
But marriage is the
Mhm.
only institution that you go like a school and you can never graduate. Anytime you
Mm.
graduate from marriage is not a good thing. But you
Mm.
stay learning and working hard until, just like when you take the vow of marriage, until death do us part. So if anything that comes, that goes in between, then that's a failure. And the reason why marriages are failing now is because back in the days, when we were growing up, if your clothes have a tear, you take it to the tailor to mend it. If your shoe is broken, you take it to a cobbler to fix it. But this time around, no, we don't want to put in any kind of work. If your clothes tear, you throw it away. If your shoe tear,
Mm.
if it's broken, you throw it away. But
Mm.
and that's one of the main reasons why marriages are failing. We don't meet each other. Like when you have arguments in a marriage or when something is going wrong, you have to sit down and fix it. But the fixing part has been thrown away. When something goes wrong, we go berserk, and the next thing is everybody's heading to court and stuff. But that's not the
Mm.
original intention of God. So for any marriage to work, there must be an element of you must work hard. Because think about it, you're bringing two different people from two different backgrounds. Some people are married to people of different race. Some people are married to people of different ethnic groups. Some people are
Mm.
married to, it doesn't matter who you married, even if it's from like the same family, but you guys are different. You are raised, in different family. I mean, if you marry your sister, that's an abomination. That is not done. So as
Mm.
long as you marry a wife, you don't know how that person grew up. You don't know their background. I mean, even though she will be telling you, but you were not there. She's coming from a different background altogether. You know, what she have experienced is different from yours. And when you come together, there's going to be, a lot of issues. It doesn't matter how long you date. If you like, date
Mm.
for 3 years. It-
Mm.
the only way you can know somebody is when you start living with that person. If you are dating, everybody dress very good. Maybe you
Mm.
meet in a restaurant or meet somewhere. Everybody is more or less like an act. The only time you start knowing someone is when you sleep with that person, wake up in the morning, you know, That's when you start seeing the natural state of that person. You start seeing their whatever deficiency they have, and at that point, it is your ability to accept whatever however that person is, and whatever because God doesn't put two. You cannot, you and your wife or your husband is not going to be the same. The way God
Mm.
works is He will bring people, where you are strong, your wife or your husband will be weak. Where you're weak, your husband or your wife will be strong. So God have a reason why He make it that way. Two people cannot be the same. And as long as you guys are coming from different background, there's going to be a lot of differences. And it
Mm.
takes a minute. In marriage, the first 2 years is always the hardest. The hardest. It doesn't matter how long you guys have dated. There's going to be argument, but communication is always the key. That's where the hard work comes in. If you don't communicate, then you are bound to fail. Like I told my wife when we were getting married, I'm the kind of person like I talk. I don't keep my whatever is going on with me inside. If I'm mad, you will know that I'm mad. If I'm happy, you will know that I'm happy. There's
Mm.
no two. There's nothing like I don't go around like pretending like if I'm angry or you trying to. Nobody reads my mind. Anybody that knows me, if something's not going wrong, I'm going to communicate that to you. And I told her,
Mm.
the only way we can make anything work is when we communicate. If I do something wrong, make it a duty to let me know, so that I don't want to come home and your face is like different way. I'm trying to figure out what did I do. That's that's like a killing situation. Like you don't know if you have offended the person or if you have done something wrong. But if you communicate it, then there is room for dialogue, because
Mm.
especially within that first 2 years, it's like when you have a new baby. You don't know, they're sleeping, they're waking up. You can't sleep unless they sleep. That first 2 years of marriage is the same way. You don't know when you make them happy. You don't know when. I've been married with my wife now for almost 10 years. So now there's some things I can predict. But within that
Mm.
2 years, it's just like buying something new. Like you don't know how that thing behave. So unless the person tells you like, hey, I don't like this,
Mm.
you will not know. So that's why communication is very, very important. And in a marriage, anytime you stop communicating, that's
Mm.
a big problem. The marriage is about to die.
Wow.
Because if your wife is not talking to you, it means that she's
Mm.
talking to someone. The same thing, if your
Mm.
husband is not talking to you, he is talking to somebody. So that
Mm.
communication is very, very, very effective. And
Mm.
one thing that destroy marriage is when you having issues with your spouse and you have a second party, like you talking to somebody else instead of talking to your spouse. In my
Mm.
church, we deal with mental issues and stuff. And most of the time, what I would tell the woman or the man is, do not make another person your best friend. Your best friend should be your wife or your husband. So whatever
Mm.
is going on in your home, unless after like dialogue and there's no resolution, should any other
Mm.
person hear it. If it's a family friend, maybe it can be like a casual conversation. That's okay. But like if or every time you have an issue with your wife or your husband, and you're running to somebody else, it doesn't matter who that person is, your pastor, your best friend. If you're running to
Mm.
somebody else to discuss it, that's a problem. It doesn't go well. But let's say you have done everything you can and nothing is happening, then maybe you can maybe talk to the man of God or anybody, or maybe somebody that is close to you. But aside from it, there should be no second party at all to come between you and your spouse, because you know your spouse very well. Your spouse know you very well. The best resolution is, because even if you call 1 million people to come and intervene in a marital issue, after they're done, you guys, one person is going to be offended until you guys can come
Mm.
together and agree on something and apologize to each other. Whoever that is coming in between is going to create more havoc. So
Mm.
marriage, in terms of work, the work doesn't stop. It's a
Mm.
daily stop. The marriage is like ups and downs. There are going to be days when everything is good, everybody is happy, and everybody's laughing, and you look like you guys are in heaven. Then the next day, you something flip, and you're like, "What happened here? I mean, I thought everything is good. What did I do?" And especially for the women, God have created we guys with a lot of hormones that I think that woman should be like a study in the university that every man should learn. The psychology of woman is deep. As I am now as a man, if I'm angry, or if my emotion doesn't just flip, I can't
Hmm.
just oh you did something to me last year or last 2 years and I'm angry about it now. But for a woman, it could be maybe that time of the year of the month and something that doesn't make sense or shouldn't bring quarrel now, we bring quarrel. And you're like, what is going on here? So that's why, as a man, like patience is very, very important in marriage. Somebody like me, like, if I get angry, but I have to work on myself. Like, there's some certain things that you have to ignore as a man. If you want to, let everything get to you or get angry about everything, then it is going to be an issue. Every gender have their own problem, but I believe communication, not just communication, effective communication, and constant communication is very very
Hmm.
important. Like you have to stay talking. If your spouse, your wife is maybe going through that period of the month, you have to be patient. You have to communicate to her, try to know what is going on. What can you do to make her her time better? How can you help? But all these things comes into play. And in a marriage, when you guys are going through the honeymoon phase, it's very very interesting. It's very enjoyable. There's no kid there. You can do whatever you want to do anytime you want to do it. Once the kids comes in, it changes the dynamics. Sometimes
Hmm.
the woman will start giving more attention to the kids. And for us
Hmm.
as men, we are like kids. We
Hmm.
love attention. That's
Hmm.
most of the time me. I'll be asking my wife, sometimes my wife is like, is calling my love. I'm like, I'm answering and now. It's my son that she's calling my love. I'm like, come on, define this now. Let me know who is really your love. Is it me that is your love, or this small boy that just came in the other day that is now your love? So, when the kids comes in, it changes the dynamics of everything. And if you're not careful, you spend more time attending to the kids than attending to each other. And these kids, when they grow up, they leave. And sometimes, once the kids come in, we're not even married to our spouse anymore. We're now married to the kids. All our affection, all our time is just about the kids. We leave the other person hanging. And that's one area that, married couple that we need to pay more attention to. That we do
Hmm.
not make our spouse feel like they are invisible because we have kids. That love must continue. We must have some time to spend with each other. Like having kids limit, especially we that is in America, it limits our ability to do a lot of things. Here you cannot leave your children and just go out.
Hmm.
For so many years, wherever we're going, we have to go with the kids. Thank God that we have one that is grown up now. So sometimes I will tell my wife, hey, let's just. I mean, we have a little one now, so we still have to take the baby. But prior to
Hmm.
that, I'll tell her, let's just leave these kids and go somewhere and sit down and talk and clear our
Hmm.
heads. Because with all
Hmm.
this, you walking, you running around, sometimes it gets into it get, like you ask yourself, is this person now a roommate or are we still married? Because everybody is busy. You wake up, you run to work, you come home, you're still working. It gets in between like where your spouse is even telling you that you're not showing love anymore. But you're trying to maybe provide or something, but at the point that person start acting like maybe you don't care about them no more. So it's very important that as married couple that you bring out some time. You invest in each other. Take yourself out. Live if you have children who are at the age where they can be by themselves, especially here in America. Yes, in Nigeria they don't have that problem. You can have maybe house help or your mother-in-law or anybody. to help you babysit the children, and you need to get out, do something fun with your spouse. Spend like this is Valentine week. You know, I mean, it's not only in Valentine. It should be like something that happens all year round. You go out to the house, spend some time, ask some questions, try to find out, what you're doing right and where you need to improve. But regardless of how good you think you are, your wife or your husband is always going to have one or two reservations. And unless they tell you, you will not know. And sometimes that's why, people think that argument is like a bad thing in marriage. For me, argument is not bad. Sometimes you have to argue. If you don't, because there might be some things you think that, oh, you are perfect in doing. Only when you have small argument that you understand that maybe this thing you think you're doing well, that your wife or your husband don't think that same way. And it's always a teachable moment. You learn from it, and you grow. So in marriage, the hard work of it is something that you cannot take away. There's no viable marriage, there's no marriage that have lasted for decades that you just sit down and expect everything to just function. It doesn't work that way. Even in your love life, there's hard work, there's learning. You have to ask your spouse what works for you, because you can't just think that, oh, because it's working for you, don't mean that it's working for your spouse. That communication has to be there. And if that person have maybe something that you don't know, you need to learn it and you need to grow. These are what makes marriages work. So a lot of marriages breaks down because you know maybe your husband or your wife give you a feedback about, hey, I don't like this, I want you to learn this, or this is, and you get upset and you don't want to work, you don't want to fix that. Then I mean, the grass always look greener on the other side, but it is not. When you get to that point, you find out that that grass you're looking at is greener. Is not. The worst mistake anybody can make, especially when you have a good man or a good woman, and you just get upset and you leave. You're making the biggest mistake of your life. If you have a wife who is a godly woman, it doesn't matter what it is. You should be able to sacrifice. You should be able to work hard, do whatever it takes to make that marriage work. If there's something that maybe she's wanting or she's telling you, you do your best to see how you can you know, fix yourself or fix the situation to get going. And another thing I want to throw in is, some people, especially when you're dating, you think that when you marry a man, you're going to change that man, or when you marry a woman, you're going to change that woman. It doesn't happen. You cannot change anybody. It's only a man, a woman that wants to change that can change. When you're dating somebody, you find, if you find something, you know, don't think that, oh, don't ignore it and say, when we marry, this person is going to change. No, that's a lie. If it's something that you cannot endure, do not go into that relation. Don't go into that marriage. If you see a sign and it's something that, okay, the, this is like a no-no for me, leave it alone. But if it's something that you can live with, you know, go into it. But don't go into it thinking that you're going to go in and change that man or woman. It doesn't happen. The only person that can change is what they want to change. If you marry with that kind of mindset that, okay, I see this, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that, you'll be disappointed. Because once you start raising all those objections, raising all those concerns after you marry now, the person will be, in defense mode. And that's going to be like a big like argument. So during that dating period is when, get to know that person, understand, who they are as much as you can. You're not going to know everything. But once you say I do, accept whatever fault as this is how it is. If you have a problem, pray. Part of the hard work. Pray and ask God. God is the only one that can change a man. Yourself, it doesn't matter how smart you are, it doesn't matter how hardworking you are, you cannot change anyone, you cannot change any man. The only thing that can change that person is, if you pray, God take control. But if you want to do it because of, maybe you think you are strong, you will miss the mark. It will not end well. So, the element of God is very important, in every doing marriage. So once you marry somebody, There are things that you don't know about that person that you will start knowing. And at that point, when you have said I do, is not the power is no more in your hand. You cannot
mm,
change that person. The only person that
mm,
can, if there's something fundamental that you see, the only thing you can do is to start asking God, hey, God, please help me. I marry this person for real. Is no, whatever it is, change this man or change this woman. But because according to the Bible, if there is no adultery or stuff like that, in this modern day, if somebody is not beating you and stuff, it, whatever fault that person have is something that you have to, accept and pray to God to be the one to change that person.
mm,
So personally, for me, I would say that marriage, you know, requires is a lot of work. Every day
mm,
you need to you learn it. You can never. It doesn't matter how long you have been married. There's some
mm,
things that your spouse will do, and you'll be like, "Whoa, have I been living with this man or this woman, or what happened?" So, it's going to be because the heart of a man is the Bible says is evil and very deceitful. People
mm,
change. People,
mm,
I've seen people who have been married for so many years. I was reading one story. This guy escaped from prison and changed his identity and everything, and married a woman and lived with that woman for more than 30 years.
mm,
And the woman did not know that this man has been in jail and like the US government was looking for him. It was like a movie. And finally they caught him. Like he has a different identity, everything. And the woman was like, whoa, like the woman could not believe that this man I married for so many years was a totally different person. He got everything he got was different. So, you know, that come to show you that as long as you are still married, you must be prayerful. You
mm,
cannot just relax and say, "Oh, now I made it, I'm married," and that that for the ladies, that affect the ladies a whole lot.
mm,
Most of the ladies, they spend so many years searching for a man to marry. Once they marry, they relax. Most of the time, most women stop taking care of themselves. Most women stop for the men. We eat by our eyes. Some women just leave themselves to go and think that it's okay. It's not. It's very important that you stay. I mean, you have as a woman, you have to up your game. You cannot just relax and say that, oh, now I got this man now and I'm good to go. No, you must take care of yourself. And for me personally, that's one thing that my wife did like was doing even up to now. I'm like, man, this woman, you can't even let me rest. Like, you have to throw in some things to get the man confused. You can't just because it doesn't matter how disciplined you are as a man.
mm,
Men, I mean, I don't know, but we're we're not we're not as disciplined as women.
mm,
I mean, it takes a man like a man. You have to die to some things to not mess up.
mm,
I mean, a lot of men will attest to this. A woman can say, "Oh, like they can look and don't." If a man tell you that, "Oh, I don't see a woman outside. Like I don't look," as a man, you're going to see women, but because you already disciplined, you already died, so you be like, "Oh man, I don't care about this." But if your wife is the kind that maybe she's not dressing well, she's not taking care of herself, these are things that will get in, that will mess up your brain. Well, you see some men that don't even like even like the Muslim men, they don't want their wife to maybe dress well, do this, do that. But when they go outside and they see women that dress that way, I'm like, oh wow, this girl, this woman looks nice. So it's kind of like a messed up situation. But as a woman, once you get married, especially as a Christian, don't just leave yourself like that. Take care of yourself. Make sure that you don't just allow yourself to just go because you're married now. No, you take care of yourself, you maintain yourself. You have your man always focus on you because we
mm,
as men we feed by our eyes. We always
mm,
look at our eyes always looking at things. So women don't, the you guys psychology is different. Women don't, don't go by just appearance. I mean, I'm not saying that women don't like good things, but women are more emotional than men. We are not emotional. We're not emotional being at all. Most men, I mean, if a man is emotional, you know, is not natural for a man. But
mm,
women, you guys are very emotional. For us, we go by just what we see. So it's very important that
mm,
as you get married, you continue taking care of yourself. You continue looking good. Don't just let yourself go. It doesn't matter how many kids you have. Still, maintain yourself. Still look good. This is what keep your man glued to you. It's not like the man won't see, maybe won't look out and won't see a girl that dress good. I mean, as a Christian, you see a woman that's beautiful. Hey, God is good, man. This girl is beautiful, and you keep going. But when your wife, don't dress like a fish seller, sometimes you will mess up your brain. You're like, man, I wish my wife look like this. I wish my wife can dress this way. So these are some of the things that we have to do to spice up, the marriage. And as men, taking care of our wife is very, very important. I mean, they say if you cannot take care of your wife, you are worse than an infidel. It is not the job of a woman to go out to make money. I know America have made it where you know everybody's working, which is there's nothing wrong with that. But as a man, the primary responsibility of taking care of the home it should fall on you. You cannot be sleeping while your wife is working. That's
mm,
that's not right. I mean, the women are not built for that. I mean, naturally, God made woman for soft life. It's
mm,
just the industrial revolution where man and woman have to go out to fend for the family. The way it's supposed to run is if you look at marriages where our parents, you know, it is the man that makes sure that the meat is killed, everything that to feed the family is provided. You bring the direction. The woman is like a helpmate, not someone who runs around helter skelter trying to pay bills and put food on the table while you are somewhere chilling. That's against the law of God. That's why the Bible put it that you are worse than an infidel if you cannot take care of your wife. It doesn't matter if your wife is making money. That's a plus, big time plus. But as a man, you should not relax and expect your wife to go out there and put food on the table. No.
mm,
But if it happens that okay, God bless your wife with such a skills, that's good. But you you cannot you cannot be sitting at home playing video game or watching movies while your wife is out there, cracking her brain. If she's making money, you should be cooking. You cannot just be sitting down, playing. You must be complimentary. You cannot, allow that woman to go crazy because she's trying to provide for the family. So, as a man, our primary responsibility is to take care of our home,
mm,
provide, not just physical provision, but spiritual provision. You cannot allow your wife to be stressed out, and also you cannot just sit. The spiritual directive have to come from you. If there there are some women naturally in most homes women are the one that are more religious than the men. But even as that, you as the man must provide the spiritual directive. You must uh, make sure that you guys pray even when she don't feel good. You pray for her. You bring the whole family to God. You must make sure that you guys go to church. These are things that a man should provide. God have a reason why He made a man. Making a man the head doesn't mean that we are more smarter than women or we are in any way, more higher than them. No, the two genders are the same, but there are some special responsibilities that God have given to a man. You are like as a man, you are like a priest.
mm,
If you as a man cannot run your home, you're not fit to run anything else. Even a business, you shouldn't be able to run because It says charity begins at home. Your
mm,
first primary assignment is your home. You know how successful a man is by how his family is. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire. If you cannot run a home, you have failed. You might be
mm,
successful in the eyes of men, but
mm,
before God, you are not. Your primary
mm,
assignment is your home. Your wife first, then your children. You bring them to
mm,
God. You teach them the Bible. You teach them how to pray. You make sure that prayer becomes a part and parcel of the family. This is one
mm,
of our number one job. And if we lead well, it's easy for our wife to take over from us and do better. But where we fail, because if you look at the case of Adam and Eve, you ask yourself, why did the snake deceive Eve in the presence of Adam? What a lot of people don't know, people think that Adam went away. Adam didn't. Adam was right there when
mm,
the serpent was deceiving Eve, but he couldn't do nothing because he lost his leadership. He was not leading. So leadership is very, very important in any marriage. As a man, you must lead. If you cannot
mm,
lead, your family is failing
mm,
before anything else. So you provide leadership. And one beautiful thing about women is, all you need to do is just to bring something. A woman, if you just give her a little bit of stuff, she will give her just some fish and some spices. She will make a beautiful meal for you.
mm,
The same thing. Give her a house. She will turn it into a home. You know,
mm,
whatever you bring, a woman's energy will match. A good woman's energy. Let me, rephrase that. A good woman's energy. But not all women are not created equal. This, modern generation now, everybody want to be fly. People want to live on the street, but that's not the original plan of God. But as long
mm,
as you have a good wife, whatever you bring, she multiplies, she doubles it. But that little man,
mm,
it doesn't matter, how smart a woman is. There are some areas where she will if she's by herself. As there's a strong man who provides leadership, I
mm,
think that women do better under a good leader as a husband. But where a man leaves his responsibility and starts chasing goose, then a lot of water will pass under the bridge. So as men, the majority of the hard work, carrying the bricks falls on us. I always tell every woman, God did not create woman for hard work.
mm,
God created us as men for hard work. And I don't, some people will say, oh, Eve is the one that messed up. I don't see Eve didn't mess up. Adam was the one that messed up.
mm,
Because if Adam had provided leadership, Eve would not have messed up. What
mm,
we're going through, we will not be going through that now. If you look at any family that fell, the fault is from the man. Unless if maybe that woman is possessed. And
mm,
as a man, you tried your best. But most of the time, is whatever you show your wife, that's how she goes. The mentality is not the same. If you have a wife and you see the kind of life you're living, and you're like, hey, we don't want to have, we don't want to associate with all kind of people. We want quality people. And she
mm,
sees you that you whatever you're saying is you're doing. Even if she's the kind of person that just make any kind of friends, once she comes under your direction, she will not falter. She will
mm,
stay grounded. If you don't communicate, you just all over the place, then she's
mm,
gonna do the same. She will match your energy. And before you know, she falls
mm,
to a bad friend that will
mm,
be telling her about up and dressing and all kind of stuff, and not telling her about how to build a family, how start a business. All they talk about is material things, how to go shopping, how to flashy cars, and before you know, the family is in debt, and you guys are homeless in America. But if
mm,
you as a man, your wife come and look at you like, hey, this is what you do, this is how you live, she's gonna, it doesn't matter. As long as she's not possessed, she will match your energy because she see
mm,
you are leading by example, and she will follow that same example. I remember when my wife came here. My wife, I thank God, my wife is not in any way anything that flashy thing does not, impress her. When I told her, I said, look, you know, I want us to build something. It's not just about us. We're looking to build something for generations. It's
mm,
not going to be easy because America is a very difficult place. You must saving money here is difficult. After you pay bills and everything, you're broke. I told her,
mm,
look, and she's like, don't even worry about. My wife cannot even drive to Walmart and buy stuff. She will go to Walmart and she will see some things and she will come back home and she will be like, man, and then I have to take her and say, buy this. And I told her, then I have to sit down and say, hey, that gas that we have to go back. If it's something that makes sense, buy it. She
mm,
become more. She was more conservative than myself in terms of spending. I was like, I said, God, thank you, but I'm like, some things just get it is okay. So these are some
mm,
of the things that cause problem in marriage when you guys are not on the same page in terms of spending. You're trying to build, and why that woman is trying to go and spend, or the
mm,
or the other way, the woman is trying to save while you're trying to go and spend. You cannot build a viable home. The only way
mm,
is when both of you work, together, understand that this is the goal. We're not trying to impress anybody. So we're trying to, build something for our generation. This is
mm,
not our country. We come here as immigrants. Most of us come with just, our clothes and stuff. The only way where we can acquire anything in this land is when we discipline ourselves, when we are not working against each other. If you look at
mm,
most immigrant families here, you see
mm,
most families that fail in America is when the woman is working, trying to do her own thing while the man is trying to do her own thing. The woman is influenced by maybe friends from Nigeria back home or friends here that try to live their own life. I have I can say that they were family friends. The lady went to Lagos and built a house for herself without telling the husband. When my wife found out, my wife told her, man, you need to tell your husband now, say that it's a
mm,
surprise. And the lady didn't do that. Eventually, the man found out and they divorced.
mm,
These are some of the things that can cause problem in marriages. You don't
mm,
work against each other. Once you marry, you are supposed to be one. Everything, whatever I own, is not mine. Is for the family. When my
mm,
wife, came to America, then she will say, "Oh, your car." I'm like, "No, it is not my car. It's our car." "Oh, you're this." I'm like, "No, whatever we own is ours, not mine."
mm,
Until we have that mentality that whatever we have is both of us. It doesn't matter who bought it. Who bought it is
mm,
insignificant. As long
mm,
as it's something in the family, it is ours. It is not mine. It is not yours. It is for our own good. My body is not my body anymore. It is your body.
mm,
Your body is not your
mm,
body anymore. It is mine. So
mm,
we start to see things in that dimension, then we are working against each other because I'm trying to go and build my own family, then she's trying to go build her own family. Then
mm,
we will fail because now we're not building nothing for our own family. The first priority should be the husband and the wife.
mm,
We are building a family, our children. If God bless us, then it's easy now to bless people around us. But
mm,
if we, run in a different race, all I'm thinking is, my siblings have to have this. And maybe my wife is thinking
mm,
her siblings have to have this. Then whatever money she's making is going towards our own family. Whatever money I'm making is going towards my own family. And at the end of the day, our family is now suffering because
mm,
we are not paying attention to the nuclear family, which is, our immediate family. But if
mm,
we work, in unison and whatever we're doing it in agreement with each other, then it becomes easy, to help anybody or to do anything else. So it's very important that as a family that we work as one, that we don't work against each other. Especially
mm,
finance is very huge in marriage. Anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter here in America, it doesn't matter in Africa. Money is always the number one problem. Anybody that goes through divorce, you will see that there is someone who is very, very responsible with money.
mm,
As long as money is managed well, every other thing, is easily managed. But once somebody start, maybe I have a one of our family friend back then in Lagos, and I mean he's way older than me. He came to America. Me and his brother we were like age mate. We went to a federal government college and stuff. And when he left to America, that was in 2003. I was still that was when I graduated from university. So when I came to America, I was able to connect with the elder brother. I first came here, and I connected to him. That elder brother, married a woman from Nigeria, brought her here in America. The woman was a pharmacist. The woman could not work because she didn't have paper. Eventually, so this man was taking care of his own family while this woman was just sitting at home doing nothing. Eventually, when this woman, was able to get her papers, went back to pharmacy school, get everything, and she started working. Now her attention now focuses on her own family because for over 20 years, her family was not even getting nothing from America. And when you come here, it's like every family want to have that the please touch the American dollar. So this family have been waiting for 20 years for their daughter. Eventually, she got her papers and she started working, and she started sending some money to the family. And the man was now angry. The man ended up killing the woman. I
Hmm.
mean, it was a very tragic story. And the mom, have to come from Nigeria to take care of the kids. But this is what, and I'm just trying to portray how money can be like a big time issue. So most of the time, as men, maybe we're the breadwinner, and all you think about is just your own family. You're not even thinking about the woman. It doesn't end well because you have shown her that all you worry about is yours, and when she start making money, she's going to do the same. So as immigrants, I think we have to balance that. If you're married, the same way you help, whatever, even the woman, the same way you help your people, help your husband people too. Everything has to be equal. Everything has to be based on need. Like in my family, I tell my wife, we don't give money based on maybe this one is my own relative or my wife is who needs help. We will do whatever we can to support. It doesn't matter as long as I'm married. My wife's family becomes mine. My family becomes hers. Most of the time, she's telling me, send money, this my relative. I'm like, no, I don't think they need it. She don't even care about her own people. I'm like, no, I know we have to sit down and analyze, who really needs help. It doesn't matter if it's from my side or her side or wherever. And as God lead us, we help. But she understand that okay, I'm not doing anything because this person is my own blood, and she's not doing anything because this person is her own blood. All we do is based on who needs help. If my family needs help, we will. If hers need help and we are in a position to help, we will help. But these are some of the things that cause problem, in marriages, and it's something that these are things that you don't ignore. You don't say, oh, maybe a woman you're making more money than your husband. You disrespect him, or you think about it just your own family. It's not going to end well. The same thing applies when you as a man. Maybe you're making more money than your wife. You don't care. All you think about is just your own family. Take care of your own family, and whatever happened to hers, it's not your business. It doesn't end well. We have to, as long as we marry and we say that we are one, my family must become your family. Your family must become my family. Your mom, like my mother-in-law, is my mom. The same way my mom is my wife's mom. If we're going to send money, everybody, if our mom needs money, we will send to her mom. If it's my mom, it's not like, oh, we're doing it like in secret or hiding. It's whoever need help, we support. But these are things that you do to make sure that everybody was. If I'm taking care of only my family, she's not going to be happy. The same thing happen if she only taking care of her family, I'm not going to be happy. So there must be a balance where nobody feels cheated. We are here in America or wherever you are, even in Nigeria. You are wherever you are, your parents is not living there. You still have to support them because if you don't, and you don't just focus on just one party, it has to be both families. Everybody have to be taken care of. These are things that when all these things happens in the family, then everybody is happy. Nobody is feeling like the other person is using them. Because what brings a lot of conflict in marriage when somebody feel like they are being cheated, you are taking advantage of them, they don't have mouth, they don't say nothing. And that's one thing I told my wife when we were getting married. I'm like, you know, whatever I'm doing, tell me. Like, don't tiptoe when I'm at home, like, oh, my husband is home now, maybe hush, hush, hush. No. If I'm doing something wrong, let me know. The same thing, if you're doing something wrong, I'm going to let you know. It's an open communication. And
mm,
that's the only way we can work and build. Because if I come home and the energy changes, maybe the children are scared. Oh, dad is home now. She's scared. You're not building a viable family, because even when you are falling inside a pit, they will not tell you. But
mm,
when the atmosphere is peaceful, it doesn't matter what you're gonna say. But when you make a mistake, your wife can say, "Hey, darling, I don't think this is right. This shouldn't be this way." And you listen and you learn. And if it's something that need to be amend, you amend it. If
mm,
maybe what she's saying doesn't make sense,
mm,
you are now in a position, you already know how she feel. You can explain to her, this is the reason why I'm doing this. Because maybe
mm,
there are some things that we do, even as
mm,
men. Sometimes we don't want to talk, but maybe the woman will be against it or she don't understand it. But she see what you're doing and she's against it and she complains to you. Then if maybe there's a superior argument about why you're doing what you're doing, then now you can put it through and say, look, this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Maybe you don't understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, but this is why. And trust me, as long as what you put through is superior, she will get it and work with you. So, just to answer your question, I think as long as marriage is concerned,
mm,
the hard work doesn't stop until you
mm,
die. You can never say, I've worked hard. As long as you're still living and you're still married, the hard
mm,
work continues. And the only
mm,
way that marriage will stand the test of time is when you don't throw in the towel, when you keep working hard, when you keep doing
mm,
everything you can do to make sure that whatever issue comes is resolved. Because issues going to come, issues are going to come. It doesn't matter
mm,
how religious you are, it doesn't
mm,
matter how spiritual you are, as long
mm,
as you still remain in this physical realm, issues are going to come. And even as women, like, do not be like the wife of Job. When things goes wrong, you start telling your husband to curse God and die. No, it doesn't matter.
mm,
Just as the Bible said, till death do us part. It doesn't matter how
mm,
hard it is. It doesn't matter how difficult it is. As long as your man is not going away from the will of God, stay and stick with him. Because most of the time, when a man that is doing well, when he starts facing some financial difficulties, most women that are not grounded, they tend to phase out because they want the flashy life, they want the good things of life. But if stay in course, if your mind, because it's always a bumpy road, it's not going to be just like flat, like everything is just, it's always ups and downs. When things are not going right, you stick by him, you encourage him, you advise him, you pray for him. Things will turn around. The prayers of women like is very, very, very important, very strong. Any woman that stay praying for their husband, that man can never fail. And as men, we have to do our best to make sure that we treat our wife, you know, good. Have open communication, be real. Because just as the relationship between Christ and the church, we're not doing anything for just, it's not for show. It's not, we are doing it like, search your conscience. If there's something you're doing wrong, ask God for forgiveness. But stay true to God. Like, don't mistreat somebody. Because, as men, God give us like, we might be stronger and stuff. Do not mistreat somebody because maybe you're stronger than her or something. Treat somebody right. Treat your wife right. Treat her good. And whatever you lay your hand upon, God will bless. So I would say that, this is what I have to, say about the question you asked. Thank you so much.
wow. Thank you so much, Bro Paul. You've really, really said a whole lot of wealth of wisdom. And you've actually touched different faces. And you've also demonstrated to us what can actually help. to have a successful marriage. And you've talked to everyone. Even though this show is for married couples, we want them to remain married. And it's also for the young adults, we want them to choose right. But you've actually mentioned a whole lot of things today that could help this group of people, this two group of people that this show actually focused on, so that together we can have a good home, a good marriage, and a good world at large. Um, I have just one single question for you before we run out of time. But before that, I would like us to go on a short break. Then I am going to ask you my question. So we'll be going on a short break and we'll be back. Please stay with us, viewers at home. We'll be back shortly. Thank you, everyone.
For thou, Lord, art a shield for me. You're my glory, the lifter up of my head. And as I prayed, I said, God, because you're my glory, nobody can tamper with you. Because you are my glory. Who can tamper with the glory of God? Who can take the glory of God? He says, you are my glory. You are my glory. You are the one that lifts my head. I don't know who needs lifting this morning. God wants me to let you know that He is your glory. Who can tamper with the glory of God? Who can tamper with the Lord? Who can stop the Lord? For thou, Lord, art a shield for me. My glory, you lift my head. For thou, oh Lord, art a shield. You're my glory, the lifter up of my head. Oh, thank you for lifting. Thank you for lifting. Thank you for lifting my head. Oh, thank you for lifting. Thank you for lifting, Jesus. Thank you for lifting my. Can we sing it together? For thou art a shield, my glory, you lift my head. Yeshua, you are. For thou art a shield.
Thank you so much, viewers at home. I hope you were able to grab one or two things from the marriage wisdom nuggets that we had play. You can always go back to this video. Those are powerful message that can help you to uphold your marriage, and also it can benefit the young adults that are looking into embracing this wonderful institution. Bro Paul, I just have one question for you, sir. You've said a whole lot of wealth of wisdom today, and we really, really appreciate you for that. The question I have for you before we round up is, what is going to be your advice, sir, to young adults out there who they feel so much pressurized by their parents, by uncles, by aunties. Like they just tell them, "Who are you dating? When are you going to get married?" And they are on the verge of making a wrong decision. As somebody who has been married for more than a decade, what is going to be your advice to this group of people, sir, to help them? Again, the goal of this married talk show is to help couples to remain married and also to help young adults out there to make good choice. What would be your advice to them, sir, before we round up the show today?
Yeah. So Personally, for me, I think the choice of who you marry very, very, very important. I mean, how long you live. I'm not saying that people don't die young, but how long you live will be determined by who you decide to do life with. So it's not something that you jump into because everybody else is doing it. But everybody's time is not the same. Everybody's destiny is not the same. I know personally that there are people who, even as Paul said, not every if if you feel like you cannot you know uh, find the right person or you cannot marry, the only thing is just don't sin against your body, which is the temple of the Holy Spirit. As long as you can stay chaste, marriage is not mandatory. Like it's not like, oh, you must get married. Marriage is a beautiful thing if you find the right person. Every man or woman have his or her own husband or wife.
Hmm.
Like I always tell, you know, some of my guys in church. I'm the director of the men's ministry in Amazing Church. I will tell them, do not marry another person's wife. You will make the biggest mistake of your life if you marry another. The reason why it becomes difficult to appease a woman is when that woman is not your wife. If a woman is not, like growing up, well, one thing that I learned is that your wife will, even when you're not making sense, your wife will be laughing. It will make sense. She will be so enticed and happy. But if you are talking to somebody else's wife, it doesn't matter how smart you are, she will not be impressed because whatever you're selling to her, she cannot buy. You are not the husband. So, as young couples or as a young people, do not rush to get married. Do not be under pressure from anybody. Peer pressure. Sometimes, after the university, especially for women, oh, this one is married, oh, they're having babies, the other one is married, the other one is doing that. You are like, is my own different? I need to get married. Before you make that decision, seek the face of God. Do not make that decision by pressure. Like I said earlier, if there are some signs you are seeing that you know that you cannot deal with this, please don't marry that man. Don't marry that woman. Don't say when I marry, I will change them. It's not going to happen. If it's
Hmm.
a sign that you cannot deal with, leave that person alone. Ask God to bring your wife to you. When you see your wife, or even I don't know about women, but when you see even my wife said, when you see your wife, you will know. There is no two ways about it. I met my wife. I came back from the same day I came back from Nigeria. My cousin, came. We were going. He was going to like a wedding ceremony, and they have like hills and stuff. So he was scared of driving. He's like, hey, he came and I just came back that evening to the village. I was in Lagos for like 3 4 days. Then I flew to Enugu and came back to my village. I was just having some good conversation with my mom, and my cousin came. He's like, hey, I need to go with him. I'm like, man, dude, I just came back from Nigeria. I just came back to the village. I'm having some good conversation with my mom. Let me. And my mom is like, hey, go. I'm not. I'm not running. I'm going to be here when you come back. You have not seen this your cousin in a long time, and the place we're going is my mom's, like where my mom from. That's my maternal home. My mom is like, go with him. I went with my cousin. As soon as we got there, I stepped out of the car. The first face I sighted was my wife. Hey, I said, who is this? And it was like my elder brother that raised me, the same face, the wife. I was like, who is this lady? I just, it was like I was I was walking like a zombie. I didn't know what program me. I just walked, and there's a place where everybody know me. People that have not seen me like in a long time, they were calling Paul, Paul, Paul. People were greeting me. I was just walking like I was programmed. I was just walking. I was just waving at people and going. This is a marriage ceremony. People were greeting me. People, some of my classmates that came from South Africa, Europe, they were calling me. I did not answer anybody. I walked and walked and walked and walked, and I just stopped in front of her. And my cousin was like, "Don't you remember her?" I'm like, "No, I don't remember her." He's like, that's my mom's, sister's kids. You remember, you used to come here and they're playing and stuff. I'm like, she can't be that big. And he's like, oh, she's grown now. I came and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? And she shook my hand. When she shook my hand, it's like I felt it was like electric shocked me. you know, I felt that shock and I was like, man, thank God, this one is my wife, or this particular woman is my own. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you must do it. So I talked to her briefly and I left. I don't want to act like maybe something's wrong with me. I left. I was talking with a friend of mine that came from South Africa. Me and him was talking, and she was passing to go. I was like, oh no, 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 man, you cannot pass. So I stopped her. I said, hey, I need your phone number. She's like, okay, so she gave me her phone number. When we were supposed to go, me and my cousin were supposed to go to a wedding in Enugu with her. She was in one of our cousin's place. We knocked on the gate, called. She did not. She came to my cousin's house. I was there. As soon as she saw me, another way. I was like, what is wrong with this woman? Why are you running from me? We called her. I called her when I was in the village, man. She never answered my phone call. Even when I got back to Lagos, I was calling. This woman did not answer me. It was the day I was leaving to the airport that she just came like 10 minutes just to say, oh, bye. So, but like what I'm saying is, as a man, when you see your wife, you will know. As long as you are praying, there's some things, and it's not, it didn't just happen like, oh, I just saw her and I married. It years before like everything happened. It took some years. So, you don't rush to go get married. I think that you have to pray, because this is like one of the biggest decisions of life. You marry the wrong woman, you are done. You marry the wrong man, you're also done. You don't fall for like worldly things. The guy have a car, the guy is so handsome. I know, sometimes, as humans we see all these things, but search your soul and ask yourself, is this really who I want to spend the rest of my life with? If there's anything lacking, like if there's some things you see that, oh, I don't think this area is something I can tolerate, leave that alone. You rather be single and happy, because marriage, like we said, is fun. It is very beautiful, but it's a lot of. It can only be beautiful when you put in that hard work. The intention of God was not to make marriage, to be hard work, but because we have sinned and fallen out of grace, we must work hard now for that marriage to be sweet. If you cannot tolerate somebody, don't marry that person. Because every human being, nobody is perfect. There are lapses in any human. There are some days like you will be like, man, who do I marry? But when you think back and you say, there's a reason why I choose this woman, your brain will reset to be like, okay, yeah, okay, I'm not stupid. There's a reason why I married this woman. You start seeing the good part. Well, the devil is always going to want to make you to see like the bad part, the ugly part. But that's not what it's all about. But there's a reason why you choose that person and leave the other people. So if you choose that person, you must, even when things are not going right, you must stick to it. So as if I'm single, I'm not going to rush to go into marriage. And I'm not going to go out there. Okay, if you're looking for a wife, what you need to do is to go to God and say, God, show me who is my wife. It's not just looking for a wife. I always tell everybody, you don't just find a wife because you're looking. Most of the time, when you start looking for something, you cannot find it. The same thing applies to money. When you're looking for money, money will be elusive. Anything you are looking for, the law of attraction doesn't work. If you're searching for something, that thing doesn't come to you. Instead of you going searching for something, make yourself attracted to that thing, so that thing will come, and you'll be like a magnet. So you want to get married, start asking yourself, what are the qualities of a husband if you're a man? If you're a woman, what are the qualities of a wife? Start to prepare yourself, start to get those qualities. Get yourself ready, prepared. Your mind, the mind is the biggest thing. Prepare your mind. Make sure that your mind is right. Let's say you have been in a bad relationship. Try to start purging those things off your head. Because if you don't, then it doesn't matter how good the woman or the man is, you're always going to see them in comparison to whoever that have done you wrong. So try to
mm,
work on your mind. Make sure that your mind is right,
mm,
so that whoever you're going to get married to, they're not going to suffer the consequence of whatever you've gone through. So
mm,
prepare yourself. Make sure that you're right. Like I see a lot of people get out of marriage and they're rushing into marriage. Sometimes it work, but most of the time, like you try to, work on yourself. Make sure that your heart is ready, your mind is ready. Like you're not just like what decision you're making is not just from your head. Like you have prayed about it. That this is the direction of the Holy Spirit. You're not just
mm,
acting based on your flesh. Because sometimes, as men, we see a woman, oh my goodness, this girl looks so beautiful. Everything is set, and you jump into it, but you don't know that you're jumping into like the daughter of Jezebel. Make sure that whoever you're getting yourself entangled with is who God has destined for you. If you cannot find, give yourself some time. God have a wife for every man, and God have a husband for every woman. It's always a function of time. If
mm,
you don't give it time and you want to be faster than your shadow, that's when you make a big mistake.
mm,
So to hold the answer, do not rush. Make sure it doesn't matter what your mom is saying, and your mom or your father will mount more pressure on you when they see that maybe your life is not reflecting, the qualities of Christ. If your mom see that like you're living a godly life, they will not mount any pressure on you. They will allow you to make the right choice. It's only
mm,
most of the time when parents start mounting pressure is maybe you're not married as a man. You are bringing different women here and there, back and forth. Then your parents become worried because in their mind, it's like, man, this guy is going to make a big mistake. They start
mm,
telling you need to settle down. But your
mm,
parents see you that okay, you are taking time. They don't see you changing women like clothes. They're not going to be
mm,
worried. The same thing applies to the women. Your mom is not going to be, or your uncle, they're not going to be forced. If they see you like, oh, today you're with this man, tomorrow you're with the other man, then they start asking
mm,
themselves, what is going on here? Like, why are you, jumping all over the place? Like, make your choice.
mm,
Because, right now they see that either you're going to get a disease, you're going to start having unwanted pregnancies, or you
mm,
mess up your future.
mm,
Then there will be massive pressure on you. But when they know that okay, you're focusing what you're doing
mm,
and you're taking your time to get to know somebody, there will be no pressure there.
mm,
So the pressure comes because of your lifestyle, or
mm,
maybe you displaying uh, something that they don't understand. Then they start asking what is going on here. I have a cousin like I keep calling him like, what is going on? I'm like 2 years older than him, and he's not married. I've been calling him for years. What is happening? You're doing well. You build your own, house in the village. You also build a house where you're living in the city. So what is happening? It's not like he's having like escapade with women. So I'm trying to figure. So eventually now, he's trying to get married. I'm happy. So, but you start asking that question when you try to figure out what is going on. But the main thing is, don't let nobody mount pressure on you. As long as you know that you're not making any mistake, take your time,
mm,
then
mm,
find the right person because how successful you will be determined by who you marry. You marry the
mm,
wrong woman, if you're a man, you will not have peace of mind. The same thing applies if you're a woman. If you marry the right wife, then your life will be sweet. Whatever it's not unfortunate, even if you're not a millionaire, a billionaire, whatever you have, you guys can enjoy it and live, a successful life and have a healthy home. That's my
thank you, sir.
answer to your question.
Mhm. Thank you so much, sir, Brother Paul. We really, really appreciate you for all the wealth of wisdom that you've poured out today. We did not take it for granted. We really, really appreciate you. And our prayer is that the good Lord will continue to bless your marriage, bless your home, bless your children,
Amen.
and bless your family in
Amen.
Jesus' mighty name.
Amen.
And thank you for allowing God to use you today.
Amen.
And we hope that next time when we call you to come on this show, you will honor our invitation again. Thank you so much, sir. It was such an
Amen.
honor to have you here today. And to the viewers at home, thank you so much for joining us today on another marriage talk show, If Marriage is Hard Work. And our guest today, he has said a whole lot of wealth of wisdom. I would really, really advise you that you take your time to go over this video. And again, and if you have any question for our guest, you can always send your question to all our social media platform. We'll get across with you with an answer. And thank you so much for joining us today, our viewers at home. Thank you for making it a wonderful time with us today. I hope you've learned one or two things. And do us the favor by sharing this video with someone, especially people that are married. You might not know, you might be doing them a great favor. And also try to share it with the young adults that you know out there that need this particular video to help them in the decision they are trying to make. And this is where we're going to end this show today. And until next time, when I come your way, it's still your girl, Cecelia Ho. I wish you a blessed day. I wish you a blessed week. And I'm going to see you here next week, same time. Thank you so much. I love you all. Bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you.